Hey everyone.
Hi.
As you see, my wife's here with me, Thayana. And we have a baby in the background that's on a swing. So she might be making noise.
We'll see.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But thank you for joining us. And we have some questions already starting. So we'll just get right to it. I think this is the first time that you've done this with me, right?
Yeah, it's the first time. I mean, officially, we've done interviews and things together, but not like in a personal level like this.
Yeah, so this should be interesting. See our dynamic. Taj, what is, let me click on it. Taj, what is your favorite Jackson's album? Oh, geez.
Ooh. I know the answer.
He
doesn't have one.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Definitely don't have. It depends on how I'm feeling at the time. Yeah, I don't really have one. There's like songs that I would not want to replace for any other songs. You know, and we've been listening to a lot of Jackson music recently. So
yeah, it's tough to choose one. It's like impossible, really.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
Oh, they go by quick.
Yeah, so you have to be really.
Yeah. Oh, I see. A couple of hellos from Brazil. Yeah. Oi, gente do Brasil. Beijo.
Yes, exactly what she said. Question: how are you guys coping with being on lockdown?
Well, nothing really changed for us. We are kind of like homebodies already, so it's been easier for us. However, we do miss like taking Taylor to the park or seeing her little friends and cousins and family, and obviously seeing our siblings and parents as well. So I guess like everybody else, but like as a matter of like leaving and going out of the house, nothing has really changed.
We watch movies still and all that stuff here. So yeah, things haven't really changed, and it's different when you have a baby as well, you know.
Yeah.
Because you can't really go out as much anyway. So now it's just more. If we do go to the like market or something, it's like just one of us has to go.
Yep.
We can't take Taylor with us as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. Greens from Germany. Thank you.
Someone's asking if Taj
speaks Portuguese. Yes, I read Portuguese and I understand certain words, but I don't. Yeah, I don't speak it yet very well. I'm kind of relying on Taylor to kind of be my teacher.
Yeah.
You know, like we have Sesame Street here, where it's like you learn as you go along. I kind of want to learn that way.
Yeah, you do say a couple of words.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead.
No, I'm not going to say them now. Don't put me on the spot like
that. He does say it though.
Yeah. No, I do say a couple words. I just don't want to say them now. Maybe in a little while.
Oh, Elaine. Hi, Elaine.
Yes.
She's asking, what is Taylor's first word?
Oh.
Can you say it?
No, go ahead.
I don't want to sound like...
Yeah.
But it was mama.
Yeah.
She was saying mama for like a long time, and then dada was her second word.
A lot longer. A little later on. Yeah, definitely. Do you guys miss going anywhere in particular? Not really. I mean, just visiting friends and family, I would say. We were homebodies anyway. That's the thing. Like together, we didn't have to go out much and whatever. We kind of entertained ourselves inside. So this isn't as drastic. And plus, because what we do as well professionally, it's allowed us to be at home more often. So we're kind of fortunate compared to other people that have lost their jobs and stuff like that. Our hearts go out more to them.
That's for sure.
Let me see. I know these are going by so quickly.
Yeah.
I just don't want to miss them. So if I missed some of yours, please repeat them because we're going so fast in here.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Video game one. Have you played? Let's ask you. Have you played a video game?
Oh my God. Don't ask me that. Seriously. I'm obsessed with the Switch. And I'm obsessed with Zelda. Like I literally played all of the Zeldas, and I almost started replaying like maybe a couple of days ago. And then Taj was like, try Witcher.
Yeah.
Which we watched the TV show on Netflix, and I started playing that. It's pretty cool, but it seems like it's a very long game. and I'm trying to see if I have the time to commit to it, which being like a new mom, like kind of newish mom. She's 18, gonna be 18 months soon, but I don't have that much time. So I'm trying to figure it out. But on the PlayStation, I'm obsessed with Tomb Raider and Uncharted.
Yes.
And you?
I'm playing Spider-Man right now.
Yeah.
That's a pretty long game. I started Witcher, but I couldn't play it only because the commitment that it takes. It's like hundreds of hours or whatever.
Yes.
And so I'm looking for shorter games. I definitely play Call of Duty Warzone a lot and have come in first place a couple of times. I would say more than a couple of times. I don't want to brag, but what's your favorite Three Stooges character? It's funny because I know my uncle's favorite was Curly by far. I really loved Curly for obviously the comedic genius that he had, but I always gravitated towards Mo. I just appreciated his role. Like he, even behind the scenes, and I didn't even know this, but behind the scenes, he was the one, kind of the glue that kept everything together. He was the business savvy kind of person. And so
Taylor's saying hello, as you guys can hear.
She's looking right at us going, I want to be on TV.
Let me go grab her real quick.
But I always enjoyed watching the Three Stooges with my uncle just because he would get such a kick out of Curly. I would get a kick out of Mo just because how mean Mo was. He was like, and just, I don't know why I thought that was funny, but I still do to this day. Is missing it. Yeah, History 25 would be such an important release. I love the History album. I wish, I hope that they do something to re-release it or do something with it. Hello. Say
hi,
Taylor. Now you don't feel.
Cute. Bye.
Show the shirt that I love.
Oh, yes. Someone gave this shirt to her, and Taj wanted to put it on her today.
I love the shirt.
Wait, I'm flipping her.
Big and model.
There you go.
Let me move this. How do I move this? Oh, here we go. Hide current comment. Related to the King of Pop.
Do you remember? Do you know who gave this one to her, Boo?
I don't know.
I think we got in a bag from when you came back from Europe, right?
Yes. I would love to know who gave it to us, because the problem is sometimes I get so many things in, and make sure I just pack it all together. And so if it's not on like a tag or something, I don't really remember who gave what, but I love that shirt. And so thank you so much for it. Also, I love the hat, which I'm still trying to figure out who gave me this hat because I've worn this to death.
She has a hard time staying still, you guys. She's very active. So we'll see how this works out.
She's already over this.
Yeah, I might need to jump in and out.
She's going to be the scene stealer.
Oh, there you go. She's sending out good example.
Yeah, put on the mask.
Wear your masks, people.
Yes. But anyway, so let's keep going. How does Taylor, I just saw something about Taylor. Let's see. Yeah, the t-shirt is dope. How does Taylor, it's really interesting because she gravitates towards pictures, towards books, towards his music, like many, kids do in terms of what we've seen all over the world. Yeah.
Her hair's getting messed up. She's losing a bow.
Yeah. She's just loving this, by the way. She'll look back at this and be embarrassed. But no, I think, just the same way that we feel blessed to be related to Michael. And I think that's the thing for me, especially. I'm so proud of it. And I think as she gets older, she's going to realize how lucky she is.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's funny because it kind of feels like with Michael and Didi and even like my grandparents who have passed on, she has like kind of like a connection when she sees pictures. It's like she smiles and touches it, like she kind of know them. It's funny. Yeah.
And yes, someone asked, is Taylor learning Portuguese?
Oh yeah.
Yes, 100% Taylor's learning. That's why she's not speaking as much, is because she's learning 2 languages at once. And so usually they delay a little in terms of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Favorite Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
Oh, film.
Oh, favorite Tarzan? Gosh. I don't really have one. Charlie Chaplin, just a genius in general in terms of watched a lot of it at Neverland with my uncle. So yeah, I would say that. Let's see. Taj can. Let me see. I'm going over. Oh, let me posting. So, oh well, film family. Sorry, these are going by so quick that I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, film family is definitely coming back. I gotta talk to my partners in crime, Prince and BG. But we definitely want to keep it going. We love movies. We love being together. Unfortunately, it would have to be something like this, where we'd be doing it live and kind of in a split screen kind of way. But I think that would be awesome. Will the documentary series be delayed? I'm hoping not, but as months go by, in terms of trying to do everything I can that doesn't require like being around people. But as this progresses, it seems like it's going to be a little while that we are in lockdown. So, and I know some people are starting to do like video chats and stuff where, in terms of that, I want to do it in person. I don't really want to do a video chat kind of thing scenario. If it's going to be years, of course I'll do it. But if it's going to be delayed just a couple months or whatever, then I would rather do it in person, because I think there's an energy you get with interviewing someone in person. Is she better now? Okay, let's see. There's what was Michael's favorite African countries? Gosh, I don't know that answer.
Tired, you guys. Yeah. I may have to excuse myself for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, come back in a couple minutes. I'll answer back all the Taj questions.
Okay.
While you say bye. Say bye to everyone.
Manda beijo. Manda beijo. Kiss.
Oh, now you're gonna behave. Okay.
Right. She's tired.
She'll be back
next time.
Yes. My uncle always bragged about Africa. He loved it. And it didn't matter what country he went to. We would always ask him, and he'd say, oh my gosh, Africa's so beautiful, the people and everything like that. And so I don't know if he had a favorite. I never asked him what his favorite was, but I know every time he came back from any country in Africa, he loved it. And he felt so close to his roots. And let's see. Am I happy about the project so far? Yes. The only thing is, it's so big in a certain scale, because when you want to do so much and there's so much to do, but then because you kind of have to not expect that everyone knows everything that's going on. I mean, we've done our homework and our research and stuff like that. And even today, like just reading Twitter comments and stuff like that, or YouTube comments, there's a lot of ignorant people out there that, that just want to spread lies and stuff like that. And so it's kind of like, it's going to be a review for a lot of the fans and a lot of the people that actually know what we're talking about. But at the same time, you have to kind of assume that no one, some people are coming into this that weren't even born when Michael passed, and they kind of just know him through his music. So I'm very happy with the project. I wish that it was further along just because of this scenario now, but at the same time, there's no one that was committed that has said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. In terms of that I feel we've lost anyone in that way. And if anything, I think the tide has turned to a point where people are now starting to realize that, Leaving Neverland was what it was, which is basically not even a money grab. It was just it was such a fake movie in general. And I mean, I think if the media would have held a lot of, if media had any standards in that way, then we wouldn't, even as a fan base or people that appreciate Michael, had to deal with what we dealt with in the last years. Did Michael love that? Yes. the reason I'm pausing is because, there wasn't really a place that Michael didn't love, because he appreciated everyone. And it was not even just obviously like whether it was, the culture or if there was museums and stuff like that, he loved it for that reason. But he really loved the fans, and at each country, the fans were different, even though some fans, obviously followed him around from country to country. There's a certain energy you get from different countries, regarding the fans. And so we've had some of our greatest memories with our uncle in the Netherlands, Taj, tomorrow's the anniversary of Prince's death. Did you ever meet him? And what is your favorite Prince song? I don't think I ever met. I mean, I say that only because as a kid, I've met a lot of stars that I didn't even know that I had met. But I wish I would have met him. He's one of the legends of music in general. He has so many great hits that I don't know. I don't even know where to begin with what song I would say for a Prince song. I can tell you that memory wise with my uncle, Soft and Wet was a song that we would, hear him blasting in his room, he just loved that, that song but I mean, I think when Purple Rain came out in general, not even just the movie, but the soundtrack was just so unbelievably remarkable, that there's so many songs off of there. Sorry guys, this is going really quickly, which is fine, but I just, classical music. Oh yes. 100%. Yes, he loved, obviously Mozart, Beethoven, but, Claude Debussy was one of his favorite, Clair de Lune, or if I'm saying that right, and the first Arabesque, those two played at Neverland all the time. I actually have music from Neverland. Clair de Lune was played when Taylor was born, because we were playing the music from Neverland, when she was born. And so, but Claude Debussy was definitely one of my uncle's favorite kind of classical music composers. Yes, I did. I mean, I've heard, I don't know Orlando Brown at all. Like really, I've heard stories about him and stuff like that. I don't know enough to comment about anything. I just know that, that what he's been saying has been ridiculous in general. And I think there's some mental health issues or something like that. So I don't really know how to react to that. But he's accused a couple of people of certain things, and then retracted it in the past. I know Nick Cannon was one person that he accused at one point. So it's just crazy in general, but I mean, I don't know how to react to it. I'm trying to answer questions because I said, ask me anything. So I'm trying to answer questions that you guys think I wouldn't answer. Did the media ever? No, the media never apologizes for reporting fake news on Michael, and they won't. I think they'll just ignore it and pretend that they never said it. But I hold the media accountable for what happened to my uncle 100%. They're one of the accomplices, for that, because they made his life a living hell. My uncle played air guitar. He never played guitar. And he could play, play finger chords on the piano, but he wasn't really elaborate on the piano. Taj, what is songs? Trying to answer. Can I dance like no, I can't even dance like my dad. My dad's a better dancer than me. I've gotten better over the years. I've never danced. Like I didn't dance in school at all. I was too shy. So, I'm getting better. I'm getting more comfortable dancing, but it's completely out of my element. Uh, how do I feel about Michael's personal items? Um, that's a good question. I don't know what the current financial situation is. I know that there's a lot of stuff that he wanted to be in museums for his family. When I say it's for his family, for his kids. So it's hard. There's certain things that, I know that times are tough for people, and so it's something that they auction off stuff for that reason or whatever. And there's people that definitely want to enjoy those things. And it's hard for me to look down at that, only because I was around my uncle a lot of times when he would buy things from auctions, and he would be so excited, that people were selling these things, and he was a collector. So it'd be very hypocritical of me to get mad at someone for selling something when my uncle bought stuff. Now, saying that, there's certain things that I would never get rid of, and just because they're so personal to me. But I can't. Hypocrisy is a big thing for me. So, tell us about your first song experience as 3T at Free Willy. That was our second, actually, but that's a good question. Our first was, we did something for the Jackson American Dream soundtrack, called You Are the Ones. And that was like a short interlude. We wrote a whole song for it, but it was a short interlude. They tacked it on the beginning, I think, or at the end, because the album was already completed pretty much, and they didn't have any room for it. But that was our first. I don't even know if it was 3T or 3Ts on there, but then when Free Willy came out, that was the first time that we really kind of got some recognition with Didn't Mean to Hurt You on there, and we're actually in the movie as well. And so that was very exciting for us, because our song was playing over the theater speakers. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. Yes, you guys are having to deal with the bullying. And it's interesting because it's, me as well. And I think in a way you kind of understand what Michael went through and what, or my uncle went through, because you're dealing with it as well. But he dealt with it tenfold in that way, because it was coming from all different angles. And so, and it's so unfortunate, but at the same time, knowing, the ignorance, and knowing people that are sending me messages and, and stuff, it kind of reminds me of what my uncle had to go through and why he did certain things certain ways. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead because I was trying to go backwards, but I'm now to the point where I'm like 7 minutes past questions. So let's. Where am I at? Sorry, guys. What is my favorite thing to eat during the quarantine? I've been eating so bad in general, and it's not an excuse. I'm not using the quarantine as an excuse. It's just I eat bad anyway. And so, my wife is the healthy one. She makes salads and stuff for Taylor, or not for Taylor, but salads for herself. And, she cooks for Taylor and stuff like that. And for me, I'm like microwave man. I'll heat up like the quick dinners and all that stuff. Can I moonwalk? I did mention something about a moonwalk challenge, in one of the Twitter things. I used to be able to moonwalk extremely well, in my opinion, extremely well. It was something that I wasn't ashamed of. Unfortunately, I've had 2 Achilles tendon surgeries on each foot. So I got to see how my moonwalking is. I just tried it like a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't where I would even want to display that. So, but now my right Achilles is getting stronger. And if it gets to the point where my left one was, then I will definitely show it and do it. It's not incredible, but it's respectable. Let's see. Oof. I don't know if he learned. I know he knew a lot of like words in terms of, not in Arabic or anything, and but he knew a lot of words like thank you and stuff in different cultures. So I wouldn't be surprised if he knew. That would be one of the things he'd always ask: how do you say thank you, or how do you say, hi or something in a certain language. So he probably would know basic words from every culture and every country that he went to. But I don't know if because unfortunately I wasn't with him when he went to the Middle East. But yes, he gracefully did embrace all different cultures. And I think that's what makes him so worldwide, because he loved every culture the same. And it reflects. Was I in the first 2300? Yes, I was in there. We're also in the song. The song was recorded at my dad's place, in my dad's studio. The whole that song, 2300 Jackson Street. And so me and my brothers and a couple of cousins were there singing, the kid choir thing in that. So it was an incredible experience. How's she doing? No luck.
Still up.
Yeah, still up.
She's at that phase. She fights sleep. She doesn't want to sleep.
That's you.
Yeah.
My favorite color is black, obviously. Thayana's favorite color is purple.
Yes.
And Taylor's is purple right now.
Yeah,
we'll see.
She usually goes straight to the purple toys. So
yeah. So favorite movie. What's your favorite movie?
Oh my goodness, that's a hard question. It used to be The Notebook, but I've seen so many movies since then that I don't have a favorite anymore, unfortunately. So
I've always said Shawshank Redemption,
Yeah.
but that's one that I think that will be one that is safe for me to always say. Obviously, Star Wars was so influential. Jurassic Park I loved for certain reasons in terms of just the wonderment of it. So I mean, I don't have a favorite, just like I don't have a favorite song. So if Michael was alive today, what would he be doing? Definitely he would have written a song by now, and for charity, because that's how he expressed himself, was through music. And he'd be very depressed right now at the world suffering. He was an empath, and so no matter what was happening around the world, he felt it. And so he'd be very sad right now, because in a way we're all united because we're all dealing with this, but we're all divided because we're kind of like in our own little sections dealing with it. And every country's dealing with it a different way.
Yeah.
Is my Portuguese good? She catches me sometimes like saying like little nursery rhymes that Taylor is learning. I think it's decent. I'm not going to say anything yet. Maybe on the next one I'll say some Portuguese.
He understands a lot. Like he understands pretty much everything if we speak slowly, but he doesn't try to speak it like very often. So he should speak better than he does.
Yeah. Cool. Is Annie okay? I love that. I don't know if Annie's okay. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, how are you doing, Thayana?
Good. Thank you. I'm doing great. Like just loving every minute of being like a mom, and right now just staying home and working with my sisters as well. Like Taja said earlier, luckily what we do, we can work from home. So far so good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Did we play Last of Us? Yeah, we love that series.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to the new one coming out. I know it got delayed, I think, but yes, looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
What did Michael think of Tupac? I don't know personally what he thought of Tupac. I know that he, appreciated his music because we heard it, around him a lot in that way. But I don't know. I never asked him personally what he thought of Tupac. So let's see.
When do you intend to come to Brazil?
Where's that?
Lower. I think
Up,
higher. You passed it.
When do I?
Yeah. We've been a couple of times. Like I brought Taj twice or 3 times. I can't remember. Maybe twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
Maybe twice or 3 times.
Yeah.
I've been before though. Before that.
But now with Taylor, we are definitely going back. Like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. 100% have to go back. Went one time around New Year's, which was interesting because, obviously you guys wear all white.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find a size to fit me because it was like the pants were all skinny. Like they're not built for like thicker legs. And so it was very hard. Yeah. You just wanted to come up here. Now you want to go down?
Yeah. She just wanted to say hello.
Okay. Will the rest of the Jackson family be in the documentary? I definitely will have family in this series. I don't want it to be a family series, because the thing is that people will always say, oh, well, of course the family is going to defend him because they're his family. So, I also want to get people that have no stake in defending him. They're not getting paid by him anymore. They used to work for him, but, they don't work for him anymore. So it's that balance, but of course you have to have family there as well to balance it out in that way. Wait, where's
what?
No, not that one. Taylor reminds me of Boo from Monsters. That's the one I want.
That's cute.
Let's see. This guy wants to chat. Yeah, Taylor does want to chat.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, she has her own conversation going, and it's very interesting because there's times when she will just look up in the sky and start talking to someone, and we're wondering who she's talking to, but she's just,
Love her.
Let's see. Oh, did Michael he loved the first Batman, and Edward Scissorhands, we watched at Neverland a lot, but I know when the first Batman came out, he was reciting lines from it, and he thought it was so cool and edgy. So I know he loved that first Batman Tim Burton movie that came out.
Someone asked, does Taylor speak? We already answered that. Wait, go up. Oh no, lower. Sorry, guys.
I knew what she wanted. What are you controlling the street?
How I Met Your Mother or Friends?
Huh?
How I Met Your Mother or Friends?
Okay.
I've never watched either, you guys. I know that's crazy. I know you watched the Friends, right?
I watched Friends. I didn't mean How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
That's a series that maybe in the future I'll watch because people have talked about it. Friends, I enjoy. Terrell loved Friends. Friends was Terrell's. Little Rascals and Friends were Terrell's, and the Three Stooges.
Little Rascals?
Yeah, Terrell loved Little Rascals.
I thought you liked it.
I love them too, but that was Terrell's department. And then I loved Seinfeld and Three Stooges.
And Buffy.
Obviously. Let's see. Taylor's over there running around. What has
been the hardest in parenthood? Someone asked.
Where is that? Before that, how long have you been married?
Oh, well, we've been together since 2005 and married since 2013. So, 7 years almost?
Yeah.
Almost 7 years married, but together for 15.
How's your wife coping with the hours spent chatting with fans?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, we love chatting with you guys. You guys are awesome.
How are you coping with me, though?
With you?
Yeah, all the hours I spend.
Oh, yeah, no, we love it. I love it too.
Good answer.
I have no problem.
No, she doesn't. Yeah, the Johnny Depp thing was something that the media made up about that musical about Michael, the puppet one. Johnny Depp had never had anything to do with it. I think it was a chance to smear both Michael Jackson and Johnny Depp, by the media. Johnny Depp's people and himself had no idea that anything about it in general. And the funny thing is the media never even asked his representatives about it. They just went and made a lie about it for a couple of weeks. I think it aired. And so just, did I play the, oof. I actually bought the remake of Final Fantasy VII. And I didn't play the original back in the day. Because 97 was the year that we were touring with Brotherhood. So, it would have been a good time, but we were playing games that we can compete against each other, me and my brothers. So we didn't. But no, I bought the remake on the PS4, and that's something I look forward to diving into after probably Spider-Man or Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, someone asked can Taylor dance? Yes. It was one of the first things she did, saying like her first word mama, but I think she danced before that.
She has great rhythm, and she hears music and she immediately starts moving to it, which is something that it excites me, because it's in her soul, it's going right through her.
And someone also asked earlier, what is the hardest part of parenthood? For me, it has been not, and I know that's going to sound like not okay, kind of, but not spoiling her, because my nature as a mother is to spoil my baby, of course, but it's not in favor for her, for me to spoil her. So it's been really hard to, not just give everything she wants, because I do give her plenty of love, and so far that's all she wants. So that's good so far. For you, what is the hardest?
Being hard on her. It's not my nature to be hard on anything, but I don't want her spoiled. So I'm extremely hard on her, because she tries to get away with things by her cuteness. So I can't allow that. It's the hardest thing, and seeing her cry is hard as well. But someone said she's running her tearing the house.
You don't want to see.
You don't want to see. If we turn this camera around, you would laugh at. What is it like being part of the Jackson family?
Well, I always say they are so humble and so nice, and the first thing that attracted me to Taj was his heart. So it's easy, because this family is all about love, and that's what we all need, love in this world, and they're very they're awesome. So and they felt like my family too, in a way, because I have a huge family as well in Brazil, and the dynamics were very similar. So for me, it was very easy.
What's your how is it dealing with knowing that things are lies and you see it now, being someone that is in the family as opposed to
me? Oh, it's tough. It's very tough. It's heartbreaking to see it, because from the inside, and how people just try to turn things around and manipulate things that are not true. So it's very tough to see, to sit and watch. It's
sometimes she wants to tweet stuff, and she shows me it, and I'm like, you can't tweet that, because she's like an attack dog. She wants to defend the family. I'm like, tough. You can't say that. She's like, there's been a couple of times where that's happened, especially
with Taylor now too, because it's her legacy as well, and I don't want her to grow up with lies. So hopefully the truth will prevail.
Will Brooke Shields be in the doc? I would love for Brooke Shields to be in the doc. I haven't approached her yet. She's on the list of people to approach, because she's someone that is very important in terms of her connection with Michael, and their friendship / relationship, what it was like in general. And she's been a defender of Michael in the past in that way. And so I think she would be an incredible person to not only interview, but get an insight of. Let's see. Sorry, we're catching up on certain things.
Yeah. Someone said, tell us more about your love story.
Oh yeah, our love story. The problem is there's not a quick version of it.
Yeah. It's another video.
Yeah, it's another video. But I mean, we met, we did a duet with her sisters, 3T did, with her sisters. And we did our part in LA, and then they did their part in Paris. And then it became the second single. And because of that, basically.
Sorry, pause. For the Brazilian fans, she's saying agua. Agua, agua, agua. It's Portuguese.
Yes, and Spanish, but yes, it's Portuguese. Dan says, hey guys. What's up, Dan? Dan is someone, a good friend of mine from New York. And can you get Violet real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Dan sent us Violet, which has been a lifesaver for us. This is one of her favorite toys.
She's literally obsessed.
So if you have babies,
yeah,
Violet. I think they have a boy version too. But Taylor loves Violet. Violet got dirty.
There she comes.
Yep, here she comes, grabbing Violet.
Here she comes.
But yeah, Violet got dirty at one point, so we cleaned Violet. But Taylor loves Violet. Okay. Anyway, let's get back on track.
Yeah, you were saying about how we met.
And so we met in Paris basically because we ended up doing a music video together. And I didn't know anything about T Rio. Now they're called SCO. But I didn't know anything about them. I just knew that we had done a duet with them. And so meeting them for the first time, it was interesting because they reminded us, or 3T, kind of like we were back in the day. We were very excited to be releasing singles, and it was new to us and everything like that. And we were like kind of the jaded ones. We were like the veterans that were like, this industry sucks and all that stuff. And they were all optimistic. And so it kind of made a perfect pairing because we were like, it gave us life again in terms of the industry and optimism. And then when I met her, I kind of just knew she was something about her being the oldest, even though it's by 2 minutes because they're triplets. She handles herself as the oldest. And so, one of the first things I said to her is like, oh, you're the oldest, aren't you? And she's like, yeah, how'd you know? And said, because I could tell how you look at your sisters and watch over.
It's funny though, because there are so many coincidences. Like the difference in minutes between my sisters and I, it's the same in age for the boys. So like 2 minutes and 2 years, and then between the second and the third, it's 3 minutes and 3 years. But there's so many more coincidences. Like he said, it's another video. It's too long of a story.
Yeah. What happened to Michael's possessions in Neverland? I think a lot of it's still in storage, hopefully. It was in storage from before, so I'm hoping that it's still in storage. I don't know. I was responsible for his Vegas storage at one point. And so the Neverland stuff, I don't really know. Ben. Hey, Ben.
Hey.
And Fred. How are you guys doing? Yeah. We miss you guys. Stay safe in Paris. Ben is an incredible photographer, and Frederic is an incredible videographer, and together they make an incredible team. But Ben is one of the people that really helped my photography go to the next level. And he's been, extremely generous in giving me tips and stuff like that, and a fun guy as well. Both of them are incredible. Let's see. I'm definitely not going to sing Why right now. I saw that. I've seen that a couple of times. I'm sorry. That's not, I love that song, by the way. It's one of my, the thing with Why is a song that you kind of need in the middle of your concert or whatever, because it was written and recorded in Michael's key. And so it's higher than anything 3T usually sings. A lot of people don't know that. We adjusted our vocals to his range because Babyface wrote it, and he wrote it, and it had Michael's backgrounds already recorded on it. So we couldn't pitch shift it down because then the song dragged. It wasn't the same. And so we had to sing up in the higher registers. And so there's certain, and I guess as your voice goes along, you know, that was 20 years ago, 25 years ago, your voice, you know, deepens or lowers and stuff like that. So there's certain notes that are a lot harder to hit than they were before.
Someone asked, which songs do you sing for Taylor?
Ooh.
So we have a couple of nursery rhymes. We have in Portuguese and English. Her favorite ultimate song was a Portuguese one called O Sapo Não Lava o Pé. She was obsessed with that one for a long time. Then she went with Ping Pong, which is also a Brazilian one. And now she's obsessed with Motown Magic.
Yes, it's Motown Magic, which is on Netflix. She's moonwalking.
Oh, yeah.
She was walking backward. Motown Magic's incredible. It's introducing her to great Motown songs, you know, but at the same time, it's a great story and it's really fun. So that's something that was magic. Well, I was going to say that was magic. Yeah, that was great.
That was magic.
Have I been in contact with Michael Jackson? Yes. In the very beginning, 100%, I was in contact with him. I'm
laughing. Someone said baby shark.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
In regards to them, and throughout this time period, I have been as well in that way. Because you can't, there's no way to do this documentary without their cooperation and their help in there. So, no, have been in contact with them and looking forward to, you know, them helping me as well in that.
Someone asked, where did you get Taylor's really sweet name from, please?
Where? Oh, there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, and also tell BG I'm a huge fan.
Okay.
But her name actually is a funny story because I literally had like a list with 100 names. And when I say 100, I'm not like just making it big or exaggerating. I literally had 100 names. But when she was born, we were like, let's see what she looks like and feel like what name goes well with her and looks like her. So none of the 100 names felt right. So we were like, oh my God, like we don't like any of the names. So the following day after her birth, Taj, like we were going through names and Taj goes like, what do you think about Taylor? And that literally at that moment, like everything stopped for me. I'm like, how we did not think about that name before. Like it's literally her name. And also her middle name is Aurora, which when I was about a month pregnant into my pregnancy, like obviously we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl because you can't tell by then. So I had a dream, like, and it didn't feel like a dream. It felt real, like this moment right now. And it was basically her coming to me and saying, hi, mommy, I'm a girl and my name is Aurora. So we were like, okay, she chose her. When we found out she was a girl, we were like, she chose her name. So let's put it in there for sure. But we wanted the first one to be a T name because we're both T's. So she became Taylor Aurora.
Yeah, I wrote down basically like, because we still didn't have the name from the birth. And then I was writing down names that we had, like Melody and some others. And I wrote them next to our names. And I was just, it didn't ring. Like it was Thayana, Taj, and Melody, or Taj, and, you know, whatever it was. And then I was like, it has to be a T. Like it like that just went well. And it's because both our names start with T, and all your sisters do, and my brothers. It felt like that was the tradition. And so I definitely, Taylor just came partly because of Taylor Swift, you know, in general, in terms of someone that's a strong woman and, you know, independent. And Elizabeth Taylor, which was another reason, because I was like, Elizabeth Taylor and Michael Jackson, and it's like Taylor and Jackson kind of go together in that way. And so it was those two things that from the musical side, it was basically the Taylor Swift, but then from the Jackson connection, I was like, Taylor and Jackson always is like Michael Jackson, Elizabeth Taylor. That's like a perfect fit in there. Let's see. Will Emmanuel Lewis be? That is someone that I 100% think should be in the documentary. He has not been in many things recent, and I'm kind of respecting his kind of distance from that. But I haven't really approached him yet. I have his contacts and stuff like that. He's someone that I think, if anything, even if it's just audio or a statement or whatever, he's someone that's always been adamant about Michael's innocence. He's an incredible person. He's one of the few people that, like, besides Johnny Spence, that I spent the most time with in general throughout, you know, ages line up in terms of the years in that way. And so I had more of a connection with Emmanuel than other people in that way. And so he's always been someone that I truly admired. And so I think he has to be in it. You know, I can't force him to be in it, but I think I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't approach him and pitch it to him in the right way. I hope that answers your question. And let's see. What's your favorite song from Victory? What is your favorite Michael Jackson tour? MJ or Jackson tour? Well, Victory is definitely my favorite Jackson tour, just because it had pretty much all the brothers there, even Jackie, who was off to the side singing backgrounds, you know, off stage. And that was at an age group that I just appreciated music to the point where I saw the magic behind it in general. And the same favorite song from Victory. Gosh, I don't really have a favorite song from Victory. Yeah.
Favorite songs?
No, because I'd pick certain songs from the whole album in that way.
Yeah.
Torture I like a lot, but I also like, you know, We Can Change the World that my dad wrote and sung in. There's so many. State of Shock, Body, you know. I can't really pick, you know, Wait from, you know, the Jackie. I'm reading this one. God bless you. I've never mentioned to you. No, he never mentioned it to me, but I'm sure if you asked everyone that was in contact with him, I'm sure he did, you know, mention it. For me, when he would mention a country, it was only usually if we brought it up where he had just come back from that country, and it just happened timing wise to be around the same time. So that doesn't mean that he never mentioned it. It just means that we never heard him mention it. Let's see. Sorry. I'm trying to go backwards and get. Ooh, the Teddy baby face. You know, that's a hard thing because, you know, I did tune in for the first try of it, and you know, it's like two boxers with different styles.
I have like 5 more minutes because
why don't you
have to go
come back?
her.
Yeah, go feed her and then come back, because
All right, I'll be back.
That'll be because she's not going to even last 5 minutes.
No. Bye, you guys. I'll see you soon.
Okay. Ow. Sorry. The Teddy baby face. You know, both incredible songwriters, both incredible producers. It's really hard. You know, obviously Babyface wrote Why for us. So, well, he didn't write for us, he wrote it for Michael. So we have a little more connection with Why in terms of in a producing side. But, you know, Teddy's written some incredible songs, you know, for Michael as well, and produced some incredible songs for Michael. I don't know. I think it's just two different styles. It really is. Babyface is just, you know, I mean, as a production, his range of songs that he can do is just incredible. It's like, I don't know. It's just two different styles. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. I just think it's great musical. We're all winning because we're watching it. And I had more fun laughing at Twitter or Black Twitter, because it's just the comments they're so incredible on there. That kept it going. Just the comments and the Instagram comments, but it was just like, that made the day and the night, you know, for me. And I was still laughing the next day about it. Let's see. Yeah, Black Twitter is undefeated. It really is. It's my and it's funny because, like, I guess I wasn't introduced to Black Twitter until our reality show happened. So was a little late to the game, which was like 5 years ago. I think. But there's nothing like it. It's like now it's like my whole Twitter is Black Twitter. It's just, it is. And it's so honest and refreshing. And they're kind of, it's just a different experience, which is an incredible experience. Did Michael ever take selfies? No. Not that I know of. He the funny thing is with my uncle, he didn't like calling attention on himself. Like he wasn't self-indulgent in that way. So selfies are like, he never really talked about himself in a way like, oh, I'm, the, greatest entertainer of all time or whatever like that. He didn't mind if other people said that, but he never, it didn't get to him like that in that way. So I think, and I'm not saying all selfies are self-indulgent, it's just that he just didn't, I don't think he was ever happy he was an artist. So he was always trying to create and better something. And so I don't think he was ever like, oh, there's definitely photo shoots that he thought he looked better than other photo shoots. The first time I heard Earth Song, it was such an amazing experience. It just was like, that song to this day does something to me. It's not, it's one of those unfair songs in a way that someone wrote it and it's like, it's just in another league. And it didn't surprise me that it went #1 everywhere in the world because it was such a important song. And just the raw power of it, the end of the song, when he's singing and ad-libbing and the choir. And now I'm not even talking about the music video. I'm just talking about the song itself. But I just love how it starts. And it's an amazing song. And so my first experience with it was that, right away I knew it was a #1 song, but I also felt like this is one of his greatest songs. Does Taylor attend daycare? Not unless it's our daycare. No, she doesn't. She just runs around this house. We have everything pretty much childproof to what we think is childproof, but we watch her like a hawk because she's getting better at getting at things that she normally wouldn't have been able to get to. How does it feel to work with the best artists in the world? For us, it didn't feel like work. That's the crazy thing. It felt like, first of all, we felt honored, but at the same time, because you grow up watching this person, admiring this person, but he's still your uncle. He's still someone that at the end of the day, when you're hanging out with him, he's not Michael Jackson, like you guys know him all the time. He was, we'd watch cartoons and we watched Three Stooges, or we would, throw stink bombs at each other. And, he loved remaining young and he loved acting young in that way, whether it was prank calls, whether it was like, hide and seek or something like that. And there's a certain innocence that I think the world is missing now. That's why a lot of people don't relate to him anymore, because they don't have that childhood experience anymore. They don't have that the child inside of them has died. And I hate to be that graphic, but it's died in them. So they can't identify with them. I always held on to my childhood. I always hung on to the child inside of me. So I appreciate it. And I still try and mimic those things to this day. Like I am not ashamed to be in a water balloon fight or a prank call or pranking people or just a bunch of different things, or hide and go seek with my cousins and stuff like that. Let's see. How's the rest of my family doing? We check in all the time with each other. We don't call each other personally all the time. Like there's too many of us, but everyone's keeping dibs on everyone. I talked to my grandma about less than a week ago, maybe a week ago. And she's doing fine, which was the most important thing for me. I shouldn't say it like that, but I've always said she's like the sun, our whole family revolves around her. And so as long as she's doing well, I think the family does well. I think I've asked this in terms of, the Japanese anime. Yes, he was a huge fan of Disney, and I was as well. Did he watch any Japanese anime? I made him watch certain things, Robotech or Macross, for the Japanese version. I made him watch back in the day. I know he watched Akira, but I don't think it was through me. I had an extensive Japanese anime collection, but it was back in the day where it was only subtitled, and you had to buy them in video stores. It wasn't like streaming anywhere or whatever like that. But yeah, whether it was those kind of things. But then when Pokemon came out, he was all excited about it. Was I in Motown, or was I at Motown 25? I don't think I was. And no, I wasn't, because I was in school still, and I remember seeing it. And then the next day people were talking about it at school, and these are kids talking about it. And it was my uncle, but I was detached. I didn't understand what all the hoopla was. It just was my uncle doing something great, but he had done so many great things before. So it wasn't surprising to me. Did your uncle talk about his drawings and his art projects besides music? My uncle drew so incredibly well. I actually have a couple of his sketches. I asked to keep them once he did them. That was the thing with us. Me and my brothers had such a respected relationship in a way. Like, we never just if he drew something, we never just took it and pocketed it or whatever. We asked him, can we have this? And he was like, of course. But that's because we always wanted him, to know what we were doing in that way. But he also felt like he could talk to us about anything, and we could talk to him about anything. So it was never like we treat him like Michael Jackson in that way. We always treat him like Uncle Michael. No, my uncle definitely did not smoke. In certain performances, he mimicked smoking or whatever, but never smoked, as far as I'm concerned. And I was around him many, many times. He was very sensitive to smoke, so I don't think he, Can I say your name, Nick? Yes. Is it Nick? I don't know why though. Is that a setup or something? I'm so skeptical. Sorry if it's not. It's just it. I don't know if this was it. I don't know if he was. I know Terrell was a fan of Martin. Terrell would watch Martin all the time. I don't know if my uncle was, because I didn't. I never watched it around him. We watched more movies, and if we watched TV shows, it was going to be Three Stooges. What was the movie that one with Al Pacino? If you're talking about Dog Day Afternoon, which is the one Sidney Lumet directed, that was the one that we watched a lot with my uncle. It was Dog Day Afternoon. I know him through Instagram, and he's amazing. I've talked to him a couple times through Instagram, in terms of through the DMs and stuff like that. I don't personally know him. I would, when I go to Brazil, I will definitely make a point to, but I don't personally know him as of yet. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure I get to all the. What's your favorite? My favorite food, I don't know. I go in between Indian food and what else would you say? Boo. Favorite food? Indian, yeah. So Indian. Did Michael ever tell you the reason? The thing is that he always said that, he didn't have to say, I've always felt like being an adult was overrated, because being an adult teaches you not to dream. It teaches you not to have imagination. When you're an adult, you basically are money driven. Everything's about paying bills and about being skeptical of people, or what can people do for me. You hang around people, you know, this is my perception of what adults do. You know, they're strategic. They hang out with people that can help them, as opposed to hanging out with people that they just like to hang out with, which is what a kid would do. And so I think that was a thing. And I think he always wanted to what's the best word to say? He wanted to reclaim his childhood in a way. He never got that chance. And he would always talk to us about how he would be in the studio and watching kids outside in the playgrounds playing, and he would be envious of them, but he would be in the studio when he was a kid. And so I think that was his chance to just try and reclaim that and live vicariously through people. And that I learned a lot watching. Was he because I kind of had to do that, but not to the same extent. You know, being Michael Jackson's nephew, like if there was a school party, and there was, you know, beer there, I would have to excuse myself and leave, because if that party got busted and it was underage, you know, the headlines would have been Michael Jackson's nephew gets raided and busted at a, you know, underage drinking party. You know, and it would have hurt him. So I would have to leave at that time. But then I would ask my friends the next day, what was it like, or whatever. And I was kind of living vicariously through certain friends that did certain things in that way. And so I kind of understand that. Did my uncle have a favorite sitcom? Where is that one? He likes I think it's Sanford and Son. He liked that one a lot. I'm trying to think of other ones, but that had Red Fox in it. Did 3T do any other songs that we had? A song called "I'm So Alone" that Terrell wrote, that we had backgrounds that he sung on. We don't know where those backgrounds are because it was professionally recorded, so it's something that either Sony has or the estate has, and it wasn't to a point where we were extremely happy with it anyway. But that was a song that he did sing backgrounds for that. And then with Corey Rooney, we were doing Someone Put Your Hand Out. We were actually going to re-release that with 3T's vocals and Michael's background, and Michael knew about it, and he was excited about that because he always felt it didn't get its due. And so that was going to be a song that we did, but then it ended up getting released. So we ended up not doing that. How do you feel about Jackson family references in movies? You know, it's hard because as soon as you hear the word Michael, like, I don't know how to explain it, but as soon as I hear the word Michael, and if I hear it's like my heart kind of clenches, because it doesn't matter if it's a comedy or whatever, because it's like chances are it's going to be something negative. It's going to be something that a joke about him or something. And it's not, it hurts me that I have to have that first feeling as opposed to just, you know, but it's just, I hate that aspect of it. I hate feeling like, you know, it's so easy to bully, you know, his image and his name, and it's such a cheap shot at him. And so, but that is what I feel whenever I hear something, whether it's, you know, a family thing or whatever. I'm like, well, okay, I'm prepared for the punchline. Let's see. Did I ever get to a text message? Yeah, I shared one of them on Twitter. You probably can find it. It's I've shared a couple of them. They're very personal to me, so I don't like sharing a lot of them. But I shared that one because I was very proud of it, and you know, it was one of the last things that he had sent to me. I'll see if I can find it. But yeah, that was one of the things that I just, for me in general, it's something that. Yeah, I miss him so much, and so sometimes rereading some of the posts and the texts. But he was very late in the game with texts and stuff like that, you know, because he wasn't very tech savvy. He had people that helped him, and so he was very late to the game in that way. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying. Do I draw? I draw very slow. I actually draw very well, but very slow. Like when I say very slowly, like extremely slow, to the point where it's not even worth drawing something. But I can draw, but I'm not someone that can draw. It's not one of my great strengths, so I don't really know why I'm telling you I can draw. Yeah, there's certain shows that there are certain things and where they talk about Michael in a positive way, and that's when I take a breath of fresh air, or deep breath of fresh air, and I'm so relieved, because it's like as soon as I hear the Michael, it's like I clench up, because I'm like so worried that it's going to be a punchline to something or joke or this or that, and so when I do hear something positive, it's like I'm like relieved in that way, and it's unfortunate that it's like that. What do you think about when you're on? It's funny, because as soon as we saw LaToya on The Masked Singer, or we saw the character, we knew it was her right away. Like it wasn't even a 1% doubt. We knew it was her. We knew the way she walked, the way it talked, even though the voice was disguised. I didn't need the clues, and so I just knew that was my aunt, and so it was pretty obvious to us. What did my uncle think about Brazil? Brazil is one of the countries that, because I was around him when he had just gone, and he talked about it often. He loved Brazil. He loved the Brazilian people. I was excited, before the whole time we started dating, I showed him pictures of Thayana, and he's like, "Oh, she's Brazilian," and he smiled, and it's just like, so there. I know he has he's very affectionate of Brazil, the country, in that way, and it shows. I mean, from the music videos there, and just in terms of with Ursong, the Amazon forest and stuff like that, he deeply cared, but he cared about everywhere. So. And just for you guys to know as well, I mean, things are going, people are starting to realize the truth about all this crap and leaving Neverland and stuff like that. But never underestimate, there's always ignorant people out there. There's always people that they rely on the lies. They need that narrative to keep going. And no matter how much truth you show them, they're going to always repeat the lie. And so I know that's so frustrating, and it's frustrating for me too, but that's always going to be the case. I mean, think of your respected countries in general. I mean, there's political parties that are on oppositions, and if they can't agree, and there's a certain percentage, then it's like, there's always just going to be a certain percentage of people that think differently than you in general, whether it's true or false. Why am I not I have contacted a lot of people. Yeah, the thing is that it's not about them saying yes or not. It's about being comfortable, because the scenario is that 7-8 months ago, we were in a different climate than we are now when it comes to Michael Jackson. Now he's being celebrated. People are mentioning his name in songs. So chances are, I wanted to have the timing be right, because what you can't do is, if they say no, then reapproach them and ask them again, as opposed to now there's a higher percentage of chance that they'll say yes. And so it's just timing thing. It's like knowing the right time to ask people. Certain people, they were the first ones to say, if you need anything, I'm here. So obviously those people I've already asked, and they've said yes. But then there's other people that are like the Lisa Marie's and stuff like that have said in other interviews that they don't want to talk about Michael anymore. And this is the last time I'm talking about Michael and this and that. So it's like I have to be more delicate towards that scenario and approach it in a way like, I know you said that you'd never talk about this anymore, but this is a definitive documentary, a definitive series. Do you mind, doing this in that way? So it's just a different approach, and everyone is different. Certain people are very gung-ho, and they're, they've been very forward, like, hey, you need my help, I'm here. Others have been more in the background of like, because they know that their life is going to change once they do this. And in a way, because it just is. It's like, you by doing it, you do have a target on your back. An affidavit stating the interview is true. So people, that's an interesting jury affidavit. Are you getting people to sign a jury affidavit? I didn't know about that. I don't know if that matters. I mean, the thing is that people like Robson, and Safe Chuck, they're going to push the lies anyway. They don't care about. I mean, look what they've done with their own depositions. They've told 3 different stories at times, and so I don't think that's going to matter. I think it's going to be something where the media is going to try and control the narrative, and so I'm more concerned about the media and making it to the point where the media has no recourse. How many people who knew my? Well, that's the thing. Strength in numbers. That's my whole point in it is, and I've said that privately to people that have asked. It is strength in numbers, and that's why, in terms of the series is going to have so many people being interviewed, is because it's going to be, Wade and Robson's family, Wade and James's and their family versus all these people that truly knew Michael, for decades, or also were kids, around him that didn't have, I shouldn't say the same experience because that gives them, relevance, but are refuting their what Wade and James are saying. I think that's extremely important because there's so many things, but I don't want to give too. From what I've seen on these comments as well, there's certain people here that are people that want to continue making lies about Michael. So I don't want to give too much strategy away in terms of that. I want to be honest with you guys, but I don't want to give too much strategy because then they come around and they do certain things. As it is, one of the people that I did want to interview was approached, or I don't want to say was approached, was kind of approached in a certain way that they ended up saying they're not sure if this is the right time to be interviewed anymore. And so, and I know that was because I had mentioned their name in not one of these, but earlier on in the process. So I'm very careful now of who I mention because it's literally a list for the detractors and the liars to go after and to kind of intimidate them. Yes. Hold on, where's that question? Yeah, the David Guest and the Elizabeth Taylor and the Daves and all that stuff, I miss them more than ever because they were like adamant about fighting for Michael and they didn't care. Marlon Brando as well. Those kind of people, unfortunately are not with us. And I think that's one of the hardships is that they would be on TV right now defending Michael. So it wouldn't even be an issue. Thanks, John. It's going to be, yes, greatest entertainer ever. You're very welcome. As I said, I'm so honored to be part of this legacy, and I don't know. I feel very lucky in a way, and my uncle have an iPhone. That's where he texted me from, so I'm assuming he did. Um, it, Michael, think what he loved Whitney. I never met Whitney. I wish I did. Prince and Whitney are the two people that I've never met that in terms of that have died in terms of the same era ish that Michael was around. That I never met that I kind of regret. Freddie Mercury as well. Sorry, I'm trying to go through these and yeah, I mean, I'm going to approach Nicole Richie definitely. Michael Gibb, I don't know very well at all. I know, that would be a great one to approach. Brenda is someone that's very close to us, which is Nicole's mother. So, and I know that Brenda and Nicole are adamant, supporters of Michael. So that is definitely someone that should be in this documentary. Series. Jeez. Jordy is someone I've mentioned this before. I think it is possible to get hold of Jordy. I don't know. I'm talked to a couple people. It's such a delicate scenario with the Jordy Chandler thing. It's something that I think can be the end all, be all of everything when he comes forward and tells the truth about what happened. I don't know much about why he's not doing that. I'm hoping that when I started this project, it was kind of a dream of mine in terms of that he would be part of it. And when I say dream of mine, it was like I felt like he was going to be part of it. And so I haven't deterred from that. And I feel that that's still the case of it. That might be wishful thinking, but it's something that I do believe. And he would be the nail in the coffin for everything. It's not just going to talk about the allegations, obviously. I think it is going to talk about the life and personality of Michael, because I think that the two go hand in hand. I think because of his life and personality, he became an easy target for people because people didn't get to know him personally. And so the media shaped this narrative of who he was, and it fits into the narrative of like, oh, you don't know who Michael was, so he could have done this stuff. But the truth is that a lot of people do know who Michael was and know he was not capable of that. It's not in his nature. So I don't think you can talk about the allegations or the extortion attempts without talking about the life and personality and the triumphs and things like the Pepsi commercial where he did go through something that changed his life forever. Mm-hmm. Sorry, we're going to end soon, but I'm just trying to. Chris Tucker is someone that 100% is in my early list of people because he was adamant about defending Michael back in the day, and he's been adamant to this day. He's one of the first people that in 2005 was supportive of Michael. So I don't think there's a way to do this documentary without some participation of Chris being part of it in that. So and I have a good relationship with Chris Tucker, not a like best friend relationship or whatever, but I have a mutual respect relationship. So I think he would be great to be part of this, and he's someone that I kind of already anticipating him being part of. So Yes, I do know more and more people. More, the funny thing is, and I've said this, and I don't know if it was in live chats or whatever. I said the media's trick is they're making it seem like we're such a small minority. We aren't. We are the majority. Majority of people support Michael Jackson. It's just a lot of people, what the media has made it be is that you're scared. A lot of people are scared to come out and say that they don't believe this, or they think that because we're in an atmosphere that you can't question it. You can't question allegations. And so, but I've known just from, as you said, reading comments and reading social media, I've known already that we are the majority. I've seen polls where we're the majority. It's just the fact is that the media will always make it sound like it's just crazy Michael Jackson fans that are supporting Michael, but it's not at all. And we've seen that with certain things trending all the way to the Halloween last year. Thriller was playing all along, and even with Drake's music video, Drake's song / the TikTok phenomenon, people are celebrating Michael, and they should be, because the truth is that there's no reason not to. Sorry, there's a lot of people asking, will so and so be in it? So I'm not going to go through each person that's going to be in it, but I can tell you there's a lot of the ones that you guys have mentioned will either be in it, or I will take clips of what they've said in the past, and have them have a chance to respond to that. But yeah. Okay, real quick. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up at the same time. Is there a special moment between Lisa and... No, I don't know. I don't know if there's a special moment. I do know that just the moments I've seen with them were special to me in that way, because it hurts me for people to say, oh, that their relationship wasn't real, when I know it was. I've been around enough relationships to know relationships that are real and ones that are staged, and it was 100% real. And I can tell by the admiration that the way she looked at him and the way he talked about and looked at her. So, and there's nothing that anyone could say that would change my mind in that scenario. I do think it's backfired on her. I mean, she had no business doing it in the first place. I think it's something that was a strategic kind of hit piece. And I don't even understand the motive behind it. I mean, it was kind of cruel in a way, because, for someone that claims that, growing up, she had a childhood crush on Jackie Jackson, to do what she did shows that, it was like almost having someone, I'll use a video game reference, but she had Michael Jackson's legacy in her scope, with a sniper rifle, and was that meticulously trying to take him out. It wasn't something that was like, oh, well, she didn't even give the family a chance to respond. She had it set up a certain way. So yeah, I do think it backfired on her. And, now I think there's certain people that a lot of the truth is coming out on them. They've not been who they are for a long period of time, and people are starting to see the truth. And as I said, this year for a lot of people has been a karma year, and she's no different in that way. You back? Yeah. Taylor. Hey. There she is. Wait, you just wanted to be on thing now. Yes.
She's gonna go to sleep soon.
He discussed a lot of film plans and ideas with me. A lot of them didn't come into fruition, but I did know of certain ones that he was supposed to be a part of. I know that he was working on King Tut when he died. He was, going to direct that. And yeah, there was a lot of things. I don't know. I didn't know about the Willy Wonka thing. I don't know if he did the soundtrack for that. I don't think that was Danny Elfman, wasn't it? Yes, the Hiltons in general, I will definitely reach out to. They've been so supportive. There's someone in my list of kind of take it for granted kind of things. I expect them to be in it because they've never shied away from a question on Michael, and they've been adamant about his innocence. So, Kathy, being so close to my uncle growing up, I think she has a unique perspective in that way. And same thing, obviously, with Paris growing up in that environment and talking about Neverland. No, I was not on the remember. I was jealous of Brandy because I saw a picture of her on the set, and I was like, "Oh, how are you on the set and me not?" That would have been great, but no, I was not on the set of Remember the Time. On the set of the Moonwalker one, I was on set for Stranger in Moscow, Captain EO, the Pepsi commercial. Not when the accident happened, but the one with Alfonso Rivera. I was on set for that one. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to make sure before we leave. No, BG doesn't live with me. He lives with TJ right now. TJ was his guardian, but BG's now 18. So, but no, he does not live with me. Can I explain how James went after my uncle this way? James saved. I think it's interesting. There's two types of people in the world that have been people that my uncle has experienced, and there's ones that feel blessed that they had an experience with him in terms of that they were part of his life in any way, and then there's those that looked at him only as a dollar sign, or and they feel privileged. They feel they have a certain privilege and entitlement, and I think Wade and James and their families fall in that category. They always looked at Michael as what can he do for us, not what can we do for him. And I think that's the difference is that, and same thing with, the maid that was, selling stories and stuff like that. I think certain people, they look at it as I can make money off of this. And that's the difference. I think that's when you have that, there's no level, especially when the media is not only encouraging it, they're paying for it. There's no level of low that people will go. But from the people that I've talked to on the opposite side, they are so not only upset, they feel really, we look really down upon that because we were one of the fortunates that were able to be part of his life. And we know that there's millions and millions, billions of people that would have loved to be part of his life. Ooh, Siggy would be incredible to get on this live. Let me get into that. Let me see if that, he's got a new baby. So, but he would, he would be a lot of fun. I got to see how technical savvy he is in that way, because that might be the hard thing, is setting it up for him. Yes, it is true that you can always tell, and it was not no friends supported him. It was that, a lot of his Hollywood / music friends were told by their agents or their publicists not to support him, just to stay out of it because they were so worried about their career. And I think that's what disappointed, because my uncle was the type that didn't care about that. He stuck his neck out plenty of times to help his friends. And because he knew that was what the right thing to do was. And if anything, my uncle always rooted for the underdog, the ones that, needed help in that way. I mean, he was just like that. He it's like with Ryan White, for instance, when you know, kids were not, you know, and parents weren't allowing Ryan White to go back to school, my uncle was like, no, okay, you can stay here, and I want to know more about you, and I want you to feel like you're wanted, as opposed to people don't want you. And same thing with Dave, exactly the same thing, you know, in that scenario. And I know that he did that with John Landis as well. You know, when the Twilight Zone incident happened, you know, my uncle hired him because people in the industry were like, he had a stigma about him. And so my uncle's always, and same thing with Magic, with remember that, you know, the time, you know, when Magic announced he was HIV positive, he had a stigma about him. And my uncle was always someone that looked past the stigma and said, my friend needs me, I'm here, in that way. So I think that, and that's what was disappointing, that he was there for so many people, and then in 2005 not many people were there for him. I'm not saying no one was there for him, because I wasn't always there in terms of like on every phone call or whatever, but I can tell you it was less than it was more in that way. And I think if he would have felt that love more, it would have helped him through it. He felt it from the fans, though. What do I think about Jermaine's book about Michael? I actually personally, I don't like reading it all. I haven't read it, but I've heard from people that give me a, you know, an honest perspective, that they've loved it, and they love how he talks about his brother and stuff like that. I've never read it in that way. I don't need to read it. I don't read anything. I didn't I didn't get in trouble. I haven't read my grandma's book on, and I haven't read Moonwalker. So I just don't like reading. So, or what is it, Moonwalker? What's the book called? Moonwalk, right? Or something. Brian White mom is someone definitely that I'm going to get in contact with. She's been incredible in interviews and stuff like that. So, and her story in terms of how, you know, Uncle kept in contact. Turned up at the trial. Yeah, Frank DeLeo. I you know, obviously, a lot of people don't know that Frank DeLeo was 3T's manager after he was Michael's manager. We stole them from my uncle. And so we got to know Frank very well. And Frank never wavered from the innocence. He knew my uncle was innocent, and he always knew it was an extortion attempt. So that's another person that I kind of wish was still here, because he would be on TV right now defending him. Yeah, let me clear up something too, because you know, I've seen on certain comments that, oh, you know, Taj talked about how he's going to focus on positive stuff of Michael and all that stuff, and so I never once said I was not going to do the allegations thing. I was just saying that that is not going to be the only focus on what I'm doing. Because originally that was going to be the only focus. It was just going to be like a kind of a court case in terms of just going through the points and stuff like that. But you lose sight of who this person really is and why he would have never done these things. And so talking about his humanitarianism, talking about his personality, you know, and letting people that were there and that truly knew him talk about those things is the most effective way of doing it. And so it's just balancing the two in that way, because if it just becomes, you know, rattling off all the allegations and whatever, then it becomes very like a criminal episode of something or whatever. But then if it's just about his humanitarian work and his artistry, then it just becomes a puff piece. So it's kind of mixing the two of them and showing, you know, the ups and downs, you know, the trials and tribulations, but also the triumphs. So I think that's the thing for me, is balancing those things out. It's what's needed. Did anyone, just a question that I want to ask you guys, did anyone ever see, I didn't get to see it yet, the Michael Jordan, the Last Dance. Did anyone see that yesterday? Because that's something that I'm going to start watching as well. because I don't know how it was done or what. I know it's like a 10-part series, so it's very long. But I'm kind of curious of how that's done, because that's one of the things I'm doing is just watching a lot of documentaries and trying to see what I like and don't like of them, what makes some of them really interesting and some really boring. Do I have permission from the estate to use it? I think that's a mixture of the estate and Sony. I'm anticipating that. I mean, that would be kind of sucky if I didn't. If the state has said that they'll help me, in any way they can in terms of with the music or licensing and stuff like that. So, I'm hoping that's the case still, because that's going to be the most costly thing, is if you have to license things out and it's Michael Jackson music or images and stuff like that. But I also know that they don't own every little thing on Michael Jackson in general. If there's a news piece on Michael Jackson, whether it's Channel 4 or Channel 8 or whatever it is, I'm just making up numbers, you have to license it from those people. And because it's the name Michael Jackson, it's going to be 3 times as expensive no matter what it's on. What is this? It was, yeah. I don't know exactly why, because he never told me, but I know that it was difficult for him, the vitiligo in general. I can only imagine when your body's changing, your skin's changing, and you're the most public person in the world, basically, in terms of when it comes to music, and then your skin is changing. So I don't think it's that would be the easiest thing in general. But we knew about it. Obviously, it's funny. It was never a question for us because we'd always see splotches on him. So for us, it was never a question of, oh no, he doesn't have vitiligo. That was never a question. Yes, to do the documentaries, you'd have to expose people. Trust me, people will be exposed. Like, I'm not going to be easy on certain people, because I do believe that the media, as I said before, they're part of the reason my uncle's no longer here. And so they need to take responsibility for that. No, my uncle never talked about his lupus with me personally. Yeah, he might have talked to other people about that. But it was something that I was amazed about, because I had a cousin that died of lupus, and one of my best friends has lupus. So I know what lupus is, but I didn't know that he was dealing with it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love that picture. If you're talking about the roller coaster picture, I love that picture too. I wish I was like looking a little more excited but I do love that picture, like in general. It's amazing to me. Let's see. I have thought about Zoom, but the problem is that we have 500 people watching right now. I don't know if Zoom will allow that. I love Zoom, but I don't know if Have I heard from my sister since the show? Many people, we did a docu-series or reality show, I think it was 5 years ago. But one of the things that we did talk about was there's someone named Tanae that was claiming to be Tito Jackson's daughter and our sister, and something that we had not until that year heard about. And she was going around not only the States doing interviews with reputable media channels, which shows that they don't do their background, but then she was also going to places in Europe and performing as Michael Jackson's niece. And so we had to put a stop to that, because it was not only ruining my dad's reputation, but she was making money off the family for falsehoods in that way. And so But it's the saddest thing about it is when we did the show, I don't even know if she truly knew that. Like it's hard because I felt like she really truly believed it, and that's the hardest thing. Like, why else would you go on a show and let someone expose that you're not, Tito Jackson's daughter? So whether her mom told her all her life and she really believed it, I don't know, but I would never go on a show and then find out through DNA that you're not related. That's like humiliating. And she was nice. So it's just weird. It's a weird scenario. But then again, she was using the family name. And that's one of the things that I think the docuseries has to reflect too, is show how many times my uncle's, was sued in terms of just in general for stupid stuff, in terms of baby mamas and all this stuff. It's like he had to deal with that his whole life. Stalkers or people that claimed he was his wife or that they were his wife, or, in general, it's like that was part of his atmosphere. And a lot of people don't understand what that's like until you get to that point. Let's see. Which one is me? I'm reading on the Last Dance things. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that, guys. What do I think about Michael Jackson impersonators? I actually really love them. I've always loved them. I know my uncle loved them. So I have nothing but love for those impersonators. I think they're keeping his legacy going as well by celebrating his music. I know he enjoyed it. I know I was there plenty of times when impersonators would dance for him or sing for him, and he enjoyed it. So I enjoyed it as well. Yeah, Michael Jackson's great. I have many moments. My whole last year, I've told people in private, but my whole last year was messages from my uncle spiritually that I believe truly, steering me in certain directions that never steered me the wrong way. I'm not a courageous person, especially when it comes to being in front of the media and going to the UK without even having seen Leaving Neverland. I went on some major stations and interviews without even being able to see it because I had requested to see it earlier and they wouldn't allow it. And I was on the plane when it was airing on HBO. I was on the plane to the UK. So I was at a complete disadvantage, but something told me that, trust it and trust that my instinct and trust, what your uncle's telling you. And it worked out pretty okay in that way. And everything I've been doing has been kind of geared in that way. I feel his guidance and his spirit with us. It's interesting because this is another question. But the media, there's a lot of just being in there. There's a lot of questionable people in the entertainment industry, and you're naive in it when you enter it. And we were kept away from a lot of that stuff, and we just naturally not hanging out with certain crowds. We never got into anything anyway in that. But I can tell you there's a lot of darkness in the media and stuff like that. And, Michael Jackson is the opposite of that. He gives hope. He gives people inspiration. And so, the biggest trick that they did was using his name to deflect and to, as I always said, smoke and mirrors. And so that's the only thing that is so bothersome, is that his name has turned into a name that they basically used to deflect away from them. Yeah, that's what they do with they basically as the more, and they did the same with my uncle. It's like as you start exposing certain things, you become crazy. They start labeling you crazy, and they start making it seem like you're, that they start trying to discredit you and make it so that people don't, trust you, or that you look desperate, which you're not. You're telling the truth, and you're exposing people, and so it is hard in that way, because you at certain points you feel all alone, and then you feel like you're not making progress. Yeah, I know. What a lot of people don't know about me in general is I'm a researcher. So I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube and stuff like that. I didn't click on the question, but I'm going to answer it vaguely, because I didn't want to bring light to what it is. But yeah, there is so many things in terms of just in general about the music industry, about the film industry, that I've been doing research on, that kind of confirms my suspicions, but has always confirmed my suspicions. I just know that that's kind of been the case of it, and we've always been aware of it. And so I think it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And I think that, I'm hoping that more people are exposed, to be honest with you. Both LaBelle and Travis have said that they'd be in the documentary. So I've talked to both of them on separate occasions. And so that's something that I'm anticipating. I think they are people that have spent so much time with my uncle, and it'd be a shame not to have them in the documentary. What would Michael be telling the world right now if he was there? If he was here? I think he'd be saying what he's always been saying, just to wake up, I think there's been such a distraction in terms of what the media is trying to make it seem like is important, and it's not important. And then certain things, I think this, and I hate to downplay it or whatever. Sorry, my butt's falling asleep. Ow. I think what the media, this thing has made us aware is what's important in our life in general, and who's important in the scheme of things. I think there's a lot of things that we, and then use the word worship, but things that we kind of put on pedestals that weren't as important as they should be. And there's certain people that did a lot of work and are on the front lines all the time, teachers and medical people and stuff like that, that have shaped our society, but don't get the credit or don't get the financial compensation they deserve. And so I think there's a kind of a balancing now in that aspect of it, but it's like, it's scary and it's not fair at the same time. Yeah, more people are getting more awake in terms of just in general, are learning the truth about certain things. No, my uncle wouldn't. Question. Do my uncle think he would have liked using social media? Where is that question? My uncle would have hated social media with a passion, knowing him. It's everything that he loved being mysterious in a way. Like, he loved, the magic. If you're a magician and you do a magic trick, it's like, we live in a day and age now. It's like the next minute you have to show how you did it and show the world how you did it. And it's like, oh, I did it this way and this. He hated that aspect of it. He loved the magic and the wonderment of it. And I think social media doesn't allow that anymore. I think in a way, either he would have been, what would have been good would either he would have been able to explain himself more on social media, or he would have got bullied more on social media. So I don't know. I don't think Michael Jackson could have existed in today's world with social media. It's just not, compatible. I don't think Prince, same thing. Prince was in that same era and genre. I don't think he was compatible, with it. I think he loved reaching out to the fans and talking to the fans. I think that's what he would have loved to do, live thing. But the whole other aspect of it, where trolls are sending you stuff and making fun, he was too sensitive for that. I don't think he would have liked to see that at all. Is Snoop Dogg going to be in the doc? I hope so. He's been so adamant, and so he's a celebrity that I would love to have on there. I know MC Hammer offered to be on it recently. A fan reached out and he responded back. He's someone as well, just in terms of the mutual respect in that way. And so there are going to be certain celebrities in the documentary, but they're going to be people that actually are connected to him in some way, and to my uncle, not as someone that grew up watching him, because I think there's plenty of documentaries on that aspect of it. I want people that actually knew him and talked to him and hung out with him. Colby would have been incredible. That's what's so frustrating about all of this, is certain people are no longer here. Kobe Bryant would have been an incredible person to talk to for that. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to wind down. Hold on. Are you ready to come back?
Oh, yeah.
Taylor's sleeping right now, so maybe these next 5 minutes we'll do. My wife will be back.
Hi, guys. Taylor fell asleep now. So
yeah. But yeah, in general, it's hard because it's like, that's the one frustrating thing about the project, is that there's certain people. I already mentioned Elizabeth Taylor, Marlon Brando, Frank DeLeo, David Guess, Kobe Bryant. There's a certain people that knew him very well that are no longer here, But at the same time, I could use past footage of that talking, of what they've said.
I don't know where you guys left off.
I don't either.
I'm just like following.
Yeah. I try and see everything on YouTube. I haven't seen everything yet, in terms of, so I'm always trying to. She does.
Oui, je parle français.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Salut à tous les fans français.
Yeah. See, I understood what that question was saying, but I don't speak it very well.
Yes, I lived in France for, I think, 5 years. So that's where I learned how to speak French, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's a very beautiful language.
Yeah. The problem, I keep ignoring this question. I don't really have a memorable moment. I have so many moments. And the thing is that I can't pick one. Like there's moments for different eras and different times in general, and I just cherish everything that about him. What would you see?
Oh no, someone asked how many languages I speak. I like to say I speak 3.5, because I speak Portuguese, obviously English and French, but I also understand a lot of Spanish because it's so similar to Portuguese. So I can have a conversation, but I don't fully master the language. So I say 3.5. Oh, and my sisters and I also speak the sign language, but only like the A, B, C's. Like we can spell out words we learned as teenagers and we still like speak it. So that's it.
I speak English. Understand Spanish somewhat, in terms of if people are talking, and Portuguese in a certain way, just because it's similar to Spanish.
Yeah.
French, I understand certain words, but it's like, yeah, I don't speak anything to that point where I'm like proud of that. But I like to see an animated biopic about my. It depends on how well it's done and who's involved in it. It's hard because it's like, I feel like unless it's someone that really knew him, it's something that can be not done right and correctly. And there's like only certain people that I count on my hand. I feel like you need a committee of people to kind of keep it honest and keep it true of what he was truly like, because there's so many misconceptions and so many, plus for those biopics, they take such liberties anyway, and you can't afford to take liberties when it comes to Michael Jackson in that way. Well, thank you so much. Yeah. For that, because that was great. Let's see.
No, I don't understand Italian. I mean, I could read Italiano lo capisco. Yeah, but I can understand, but I definitely do not speak.
I actually took Italian for 2 semesters in college.
Yeah.
And no joke, it killed my Spanish. I was really good in Spanish, and me thinking I was slick because for a music major, you had to take either 2 semesters of Italian or 2 semesters of German. So I was like, well, I'll take Italian because it's closer to Spanish. Right. It's a romantic language. And it was too similar to the point where it
messed it up.
It messed it up because I wasn't stable in Spanish enough like I thought I was. So that's what it set me back probably a good 4 to 5 years.
Yeah. No Dutch either, but I see here someone speaks 6 languages. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
To my 1 language. Yeah, we're gonna have to cut this short. We're already on hour 2, but we're 5% on the battery. So, yeah. But thank you guys so much. If there's a couple, like one, if I have a son, would I name him Michael or middle name? I've thought about that. I definitely wouldn't name his first name Michael. I think there's, I don't think anyone in the family is that courageous to do so. There's only one Michael Jackson.
And hopefully all our kids are going to be T's.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Middle name is interesting in that way. But yeah, definitely, there's one Michael Jackson. And how would I like Michael's legacy to continue? I think you guys are carrying the legacy in terms of just by celebrating him, whether it's the TikTok videos, whether it's the just the Twitter polls in terms of what's your favorite song. I think the one thing that we can do that's, or be very aware of is just the inner fighting, in that way. It's this, I know it's testy times for everyone, but we all have to remain focused on why we're here in that way. So, but everyone, just like family fights, there are going to be infighting with among the fan communities and this and that, just like families fight. But we always have to remember the bigger picture in that way. My grandma's doing fine. I think I talked about that earlier, which is good. I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, someone corrected me. Yeah, there is only one Michael Jackson, but yeah, both Prince and BG are Michaels as well. Yeah, so he's allowed.
Yeah, Michael named them. So.
Yeah, he's allowed to do that. That's the thing. There's so many other things, that favorite horror movie.
I knew that's where you got caught up.
I did. Halloween for sure for now. Yeah, Halloween is just an all-time favorite.
Yeah, I hear about that a lot.
Yeah, she had to go through the Halloween.
It is a good movie, though. I mean, it is a horror movie, but there's a story to it, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I made her watch all my horror movie classics and also cartoons like Robotech and all that stuff.
Did you guys hear? He made me watch.
And Buffy. I made you watch.
Well, I loved Buffy.
And Seinfeld.
I loved Seinfeld and Buffy.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, that's about it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Do we go on dates? Where do we
Oh my God. Sorry. I was laughing and speaking, but we do. We usually tend to go to restaurants or movies, and we found out this great dine-in movie theater. So it combines both dinner and movies. We usually love going there. It's not too far from us. And yeah, that's what we usually do.
Yeah. What do you think we should trend Well, the hard thing about the trending thing is you guys usually do it like at 9 a.m. in the morning for like LA time, and I'm sleeping at that time usually, or feeding Taylor at that time, so I don't really get to participate. It's April. It's hard. I mean, I think, the moonwalk is something that everyone's doing. The moonwalk challenge or something moonwalky would have been great and still is great, but
yeah,
I don't know. Let's think about that. Let's think about something to trend. There's so many things, but I just think trending positivity is more important. And I have to catch myself because I've been kind of caught up at responding to negative stuff. And, I think just spreading the positivity right now is more important because people will get to and learn the truth. But, it's just hard because you want to respond to idiots, So, yeah. But yeah, trending on TikTok does work a lot better. I got it. Yeah, my thing just for that reason. Someone asked about Kenny Ortega in terms of.
I missed it.
It was interesting. He was someone that did come around a lot. I'm gonna have to research that more in that aspect of it. I know it's someone that he admired Michael very much and worked with him. So that would not be a negative in that aspect of it. I just have to do more research. But I met Kenny 2 different occasions. One before my uncle was had passed, and then one after. And he always was, extremely nice and always talked about how much he loved my uncle. But I got to catch up to see where he's at now because certain people said certain things, and in general, that's why I'm being hesitant because I don't know enough right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was that aspect of it as well. But then I also know that he welcomed Wade back to the dance community. But then I also know that he later on defended Michael as well and said something positive about Michael. So it's hard. That's why I have to go through. All right. What is that?
What? Oh, sorry. Como faz?
Oh, great.
Well, you have to fall in love. That's how you get together with people.
Oh, what was the question?
How do you marry a Jackson?
Oh, got it. Okay, I didn't know what the question was. So I just thought it was Portuguese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's falling in love in general. It's weird because I don't think of my family any different than other families. Just seeing them in concerts and performing, then I'm like, wow, that's amazing. All right, well, that's it, guys, because we're at 2% and this laptop's about to close. But thank you guys so much for. Oh, you wanted to say something too. You're going to be doing something with your sisters.
Oh yeah, because I was supposed to do it today, but we ended up doing this instead. So now we're going to do a chat with my sisters on Thursday on our Instagram live, and it's about eating habits and how to lead a healthy life. So we're going to be waiting for you guys there
so
too.
Check it out. I don't think I have anything to contribute on how to live a healthy life. I'll leave that up to her. But thank you guys so much for joining us, and look forward to the next one.
Yes.
Take care.